Can Ferrari and Charles Leclerc continue their winning streak? Watch the French Grand Prix this weekend on Sky Sports F1 with live coverage of all sessions. Qualifying is on Saturday at 3 p.m. and the race is on Sunday at 2 p.m. So in the episode today, we'll cover the topic of Charles Leclerc's edge against Max Verstappen and why Mercedes is set to challenge. But before we actually start the video, hit the subscribe button and press the bell icon. As the French Grand Prix approaches in the F1 2022 season, Ferrari is confident that they've regained the upper hand over Red Bull. Mercedes may also find themselves back in the mix at the front. This year's title contenders have been Ferrari and Red Bull, along with their star drivers, Charles Leclerc and Max Verstappen. Verstappen now holds a commanding points lead, although Leclerc recently snapped a 7-race winless streak by winning in Austria, reviving his bid. The advantage Charles Leclerc has over Max Verstappen and why Mercedes intends to attack. At the Austrian Grand Prix, Charles Leclerc of Ferrari finished ahead of Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton. As the French Grand Prix approaches in the F1 2022 season, Ferrari is confident that they've regained the upper hand over Red Bull. Mercedes may also find themselves back in the mix at the front. This year's title contenders have been Ferrari and Red Bull, along with their star drivers Charles Leclerc and Max Verstappen. Verstappen now holds a commanding points lead, although Leclerc recently snapped a 7-race winless streak by winning in Austria, reviving his bid. Austria was particularly encouraging for the chasing team and driver because of the change in tempo. Ferrari appeared to have finally caught up to Red Bull's top speed in straight lines while still holding their advantage in the turns. Because of this, the stakes are higher for this weekend's French GP at Le Castellet, which will feature live coverage of all practice sessions on Sky Sports F1 and a race at 2 p.m. on Sunday. For a more usable video player, utilize Chrome instead of other browsers. After another thrilling race against his title challenger Max Verstappen in Austria, Charles Leclerc prevailed, and after a thrilling race against his title challenger Max Verstappen in Austria, Charles Leclerc prevailed. With regard to straight-line performance, especially in DRS zones, we have a deficit over the Red Bull, without a doubt, said Ferrari team manager Mattia Binotto. Austria was particularly encouraging for the chasing team and driver because of the change in tempo. Ferrari appeared to have finally caught up to Red Bull's top speed in straight lines while still holding their advantage in the turns. Because of this, the stakes are higher for this weekend's French GP at Le Castellet, which will feature live coverage of all practice sessions on Sky Sports F1 and a race at 2 p.m. on Sunday. With regard to straight-line performance, especially in DRS zones, we have a deficit over the Red Bull, without a doubt, said Ferrari team manager Mattia Binotto. We put forth a lot of effort for Leclerc in Canada. We initially just used one car with a new rear wing, but ever since the UK, we've used both, and I believe we merely narrowed the distance with that new rear wing. The speed gap we formerly had has been closed. They still, in my opinion, have a very small or inconsequential edge. Verstappen beat on a Sunday for the first time this season as Leclerc comfortably passed him 3 times at the Austrian Grand Prix, and the Ferrari vehicle was also gentler on tires. Reasons Mercedes might enter the fray this weekend. A 3-team battle at the front is also extremely likely given that Mercedes is predicted to be competitive once more this weekend. Mercedes has had trouble this season with bouncing an outright pace. They've had their best weekends on smooth circuits like Paul Ricard. Mercedes competed for the victory at Silverstone for the British GP for the first time in 2022, thanks to the track configuration and significant modifications. The French GP, a racetrack that has long been held as an opportunity for Mercedes, Lewis Hamilton, and George Russell, has always been speedy despite the fact that the incumbent 8-time world champions suffered somewhat in Austria. Toto Wolff, the team owner, stated to Sky Sports F1, "It's a smooth circuit, a little like Silverstone, with fast corners, and it looks like we should have a strong performance there." Given their disadvantage, a title push could be a step too far, but can Mercedes contend for their first victory of the year? Will the French GP feature a 3-team, 6-driver battle? Live on Sky Sports this weekend and learn all the answers. The Saudi Arabian Grand Prix eventually succeeded in placing the race in the spotlight after a weekend where turmoil off the track had taken precedence. At the front, Max Verstappen of Red Bull ultimately defeated Charles Leclerc of Ferrari for the victory, as the two drivers established themselves as the season's leading contenders for the championship. The 7-time world champion's labor, however, came to almost nothing, with his part reduced to that of a dissatisfied understudy to the stars he longs to join. Verstappen defeated Leclerc in the race after a tense and highly contested contest that was impossible to foresee. The race had been in doubt and faced a potential driver boycott when a missile strike rocked Jeddah on Friday. F1's younger generation made it clear that the sport is in good hands when the two competitors went wheel to wheel for the final, decisive laps of the season opener in Bahrain. It was fascinating to watch as the competitors attempted to outdrive, outthink, and outfox one another while racing on the fastest street circuit on the schedule. Christian Horner, the head of the Red Bull team, rejoined at the prospects for the remaining 21 races. "It was a pretty tough battle today," he remarked, adding that Ferrari had a wonderful car and great drivers. "If what we've seen in the first 2 races is what we're poised for the rest of the season, it's going to be fantastic." Leclerc still needs the title with 45 points, followed by Carlos Sainz with 33. Hamilton currently has 16 points, while Verstappen has 25. Hamilton tried everything in his might to pass the field in an uncompetitive Mercedes after starting from 15th, but there was only so far his car could go. He ultimately placed 10th, to earn 1 point. After his climbing as high as 6, he was unfortunate to experience a virtual safety car at the wrong time, missing a fleeting opportunity to enter the pits and dropping positions as a result. The work Mercedes still needs to accomplish was brutally obvious at times, with their car lagging the Red Bulls and Ferraris by almost a second each lap. Hamilton stated, "It's gut-wrenching, but we'll keep working hard and fighting. It's all we can do. We are now not competing for the top spot because we're so far behind the guys in front of us. We still have a lot of work to do, and the top step seems far away." At the head of the grid, there was a lot more fun being had. This had many similarities to the first meeting between Leclerc and Verstappen, which took place in Bahrain. They were evenly matched in terms of speed, and while the two were running in the lead following the first round of pit stops, a heated, competitive battle broke out. Through the opening sector's turns, Leclerc seemed to have an advantage, but Red Bull's straight-line speed posed a danger. The two were positively speeding around as the race neared the final circuits, matching each other's lap speeds while dodging the rising walls of the Jeddah circuit. Verstappen charged after a virtual safety car, having waited his turn. On lap 42, he overtook Leclerc, who promptly fought back at turn 1 to recover the lead. Boxers touching gloves is almost like a prelude to a polite exchange before a fight. The two's fight is one to enjoy in this format. They have so far maintained their cleanliness and decorum in numerous situations of extreme pressure. However, how long that continues will be the subject of an ever more captivating story. The two teams' ability to build their cars will now be what separates them in their struggle. It would be foolish to choose between them at this point, and Hamilton and Mercedes have again another reminder of how far they still have to go to join this exciting fight. This sums up today's video. Thank you for watching.